and welcome back to another art class with me, Ms.Wich. I'm so excited to do this next project with you because it's going to be a springtime project now that we're in the season of spring. You might see the leaves starting to bud on the trees outside and the grass is starting to grow, and also in the springtime the animals come back. So you might see some rabbits or birds, and I know when I go to the park I see some ducks on the pond. So we will be making a springtime duck. Now, in order to make our duck, we're actually going to be tracing our hand and one of our feet, okay? So with your foot, that's going to be our body, and our hand is going to be the wings of our duck. We're also going to use some household items like tissues, or maybe you have tissue paper at home, and that will be the feathers. And then I'll show the other details along the way. Now, as we do our springtime duck, I'm also going to read to you one of my favorite stories that goes along with this project, One Duck Stuck. It's a very cute, funny book, so I want to do that as well. So, again, we will be tracing. I need you to get some white paper and a pencil for now, and I hope you have scissors at home. So we're gonna go get started on our duck. Hi everybody and welcome back. So we are ready to make our springtime ducks. What we're going to do is trace our hand, and I'm also going to put my foot on the paper and trace my foot for my body. So I am actually going to use, I have a very large paper here for this example. If you don't have a very big piece of paper like so, that's okay. You could actually just do two separate pieces of paper, one for your hands and then one for your foot. For this though, I am going to take my paper and fold it in half. And even if you're using one paper for your hand tracing, you need to fold it in half. I want to make my job a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is fold my paper in half, and then I have room. I'm going to trace this and put my hand here, and I will actually have two. I'm going to make my job a little bit easier. I only have to trace it one time, cut it out one time, but because I folded my paper in half, I'm actually going to end up with two. And like I said, I'm using a very big paper here, and I need to put my hand off to the side. If you are using one paper and it's big enough, you're going to put your hand all the way to one side, and then you're going to put your foot like so on the other side. Okay, if not, and you're doing two separate pieces of paper, then that's okay. You can put your hand wherever. But if I put my hand here on one paper, I'm not going to have enough room for my foot. So it depends what you are using. For myself, I'm going to put my hand on this side, take my pencil in the hand that I normally draw with, and I'm going to trace the hand that I do not draw with. Okay, so I'm spreading my fingers out too. That way my wings look spread out and even, like so. When you get to the bottom, you need to round off the bottom of your hand, okay? Now, I have room on the other side of the paper, so I would put my foot up on top. That's going to be a little hard for me to demonstrate in this video right now. So I know, though, that the shape of my foot, when I trace it, actually cuts in and it goes something like this. It's kind of like with a wavy line. It's always fun to trace your foot, and if you can take your shoe off, do it with a sock on, but I know that that is the shape of my foot. I've done this project a few times. All right, so now I'm ready to cut this out, and like I said, you want to keep your paper closed. When you close it up and you hold the fold, you will be able to get two of what we have drawn. So I need you to open, close, keep that scissor. See how I'm keeping my scissor on that pencil line? Be very careful that you are cutting this carefully. And because I spread my fingers out, it's easier for me to get my scissors in and out of my finger. And boys and girls, please make sure you are cutting with an adult around. I want you doing your very best cutting. I need you cutting carefully. And I would like it if someone was there watching you. You shouldn't be using scissors on your own. unless you have permission to do so. Okay, so now, there you go. I have my hand. I traced it once. I cut it out once. But because I folded the paper, I now have 2 for my wings. I'm going to put those off to the side. And now I'm going to cut out my foot. When you cut this out, though, all you need is one body. You only need one body for your duck. So if you have pencil marks, you may not want to use the one with pencil marks. You would use the other side, like so. And you could pick the very best one. I'm going to use the one that was underneath because I see some pencil marks here, and I don't want to show that in my design. Okay, so now I have the body. And I'm going to put my wings off to the side. Here is my thumb. I need to take the one that I traced. See how I have pencil marks here? And I'm actually going to flip it to the clean side. So my thumbs are both up in the same direction. And I'm going to put some glue at the very end of my hand. So if you have liquid glue or you have a glue stick, what you're going to do is just rub a tiny little bit at the very end, and you're going to stick it behind your duck's body. Again, I put some on the end over here, and I stick it behind the body. So now it looks like my duck is with his wings spread out. Okay, the next part, what we're going to do next is add some feathers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So for the next part of adding on the feathers, what I'm going to use is something called tissue paper. Now tissue paper is not like regular paper. It's very, very thin. And because it's so thin, it's very easy to rip. That's going to be the key to doing our feathers for our duck. Now, if you don't have tissue paper actually is like the paper that you get when you get a present or in a gift bag. So maybe you have some white tissue paper around your house that you can use that. If not, maybe you want to use real tissues, or you could actually take paper towel. So again, you can use any materials. If you don't have tissue paper itself, that's okay. Find something that's very similar, tissues or paper towel, sorry. And you can also rip that into smaller pieces about that size. And we are going to lay that down on our duck for his feathers. So the ripping part is really good practice for you. You want to put 2 thumbs together and your pointer finger is behind, and one hand is going to pull towards your body and the other hand goes in the opposite direction. So you are going to rip some pieces, not too big and not too small. If you rip them too small, you'll be here forever gluing. You also do not want to crinkle it. Don't crinkle it up. We kind of want these feathers to kind of lay flat. So just rip, and then we're going to start to stick. I'm going to take my glue stick, and please work in sections. You don't want to put glue over the entire body and wings of your duck, and then you don't get to this part later and the glue starts to dry up. Work in sections. So I'm actually going to start with the head of my duck. I'm going to rub some glue down here like so. And then, like I said, you're going to take that tissue paper that you ripped already and you're just going to stick it down. We need it nice and flat for the face because we're going to add some details to our face later on. Okay, so we need it nice and flat. If you can see. Can you see that, guys? Okay, so again, I'm going to work in sections and I am going to complete putting all of my feathers on my duck's body. Okay, so now you can see that my feathers are complete on my duck's body. And like I said, as you overlap it, it kind of sticks up a little bit in different spots, and that's perfect. That looks fine. Remember, also when you get to the ends of your fingers, you're going to have to rip your paper a little bit smaller in order to fit it in your fingertips. So what we're going to do next now is create the eyes. I'll show you my example. I need to create the eyes for my duck. I need to create the duck bill, and actually this one opens, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and the feet. You need now a small black piece of paper, or again, if you have white paper, you can use a crayon to color it, or a marker, or you can make your own eyes. If you want to draw eyes on top of it, that's fine. And same thing with orange paper. You can get a little piece of, I'm using a scrap piece of paper here of orange, but if you don't have orange, you can take a white paper, color it, and go from there. Okay, so again, I want to make my job easier. I'm going to take my black paper, my small black paper, and I just need to fold it in half. I'm going to draw my circle for my eyes, and I only have to, if you could see that, I'm only going to trace it once, draw it once, and then I'm going to cut it out once. I hold my paper and rotate it to get a nice perfect circle. And because I folded that paper in half, when I open it, I actually have two eyes. Okay, so with that now, I am going to, it's a little bit harder. I don't want to put the glue on my actual duck because it's bigger, so it's actually easier for me to put the glue on the eye. I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to do the same thing here, the other eye, like so. And I have two little eyes. And I'm going to show you how to do the duck's bill and the feet. So I'm actually going to cut my paper in half. Okay, so I'm going to have two separate papers because I am going to, once again, fold it. And when I make the duck bill, I'm going to start with my duck bill first. I need the fold in this. I need the fold to hold my duck bill together. That way I can open it when I attach it to my duck. So this part is very important, boys and girls. Start at the fold. And what you're going to do is come down, curve it out, and make it round. Okay, if you want to do it, it's like a backwards J almost. I'm going to go back to the fold up top, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to come down. I'm going to curve it out, but round it so it touches the other side that I drew. We are not going to cut this middle part. That is my fold. That's what's going to hold it together, if you could see like that. So hold it here. I'm going to put my thumb right there so I make sure I don't cut it. And I'm only cutting on my line that I just drew. So I cut very, very carefully. Rotate that. And I go up to the top. Now, again, I don't want people to see this, so this will be the side I put the glue on. I don't want anyone to see my messy pencil marks. So I will put the glue on this side, and everyone will see the top part, the back. The back becomes the front, and you can see here that my duck bill is connected. So, again, I'm going to put the glue on the side with the pencil marks, and I'm going to stick that down like so. So now, hello, my duck has an open duck bill, his mouth. I'm going to make the feet next. Well, I need 2 feet for my duck, so I'm going to fold the paper one last time. And I'm also going to draw, now I'm going to start to draw on the open side because my open side is nice and straight at the top, and I'm going to use that as a shortcut. I'm going to come down with a vertical line, and I'm going to make it longer because I have to have enough room to put the glue and stick it behind my duck. So I'm going to make a nice long vertical line, and now I'm going to make, you could either do a zigzag or if you kind of want to curve it a little bit, but I'm going to do, I think for mine, curves. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 and make it pointy. and then I'm going to make my line come back up like so. Can everybody see that? Okay, so I came down, 1, 2, 3 down curves, pointy, and that shows that my duck here has a webbed foot. I'm going to only trace it once, draw it once, cut it out once, but because I folded that paper, I am going to end up with 2 webbed duck feet. And I cut very carefully on my line. 2 and 3 curves. And now I have 2 duck feet. I'm going to stick them underneath my duck like that. But boys and girls, please look, please notice, here are my pencil marks. I don't want anyone to see that. So make sure you turn it around. I'm only going to put some glue at the tippy top of my foot and stick it behind my duck's body. So that's the back, like so. Okay. And there you go, boys and girls. There is our very cute spring duck. I love how he looks, and I can't wait to see yours. Stick around. I'm going to read you now One Duck Stuck, my favorite book to go along with this project.